fighting for the voiceless. I didn't think that was optional. I thought that was like, that's what we're here to do. Erin, am I looking at you or to camera?
Who is Angela Rye?
Angela Rye is the child of an activist and an educator. Angela Rye is an unapologetic Black woman who tries diligently to speak truth to power. I was raised by my mom and dad, who are still together. It was so important to them that I knew who I was.
I'm talking about working for free for 254 years of slavery, another 130-something, and legalized slavery during segregation.
Okay.
And no affirmative action, the lack of action, and a retrenchment on all the rights we gained in the 60s.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
My dad named me after Angela Davis. My name means bringer of truth or messenger of God, something that I try to live by. The only path forward, I think, is to begin to tell the truth about our history. I can't think of a time in my upbringing where being Black didn't matter.
The current state of Black America is illustrative of the need for strong Black leaders. We must rise to the challenge and lead the Black community to a brighter future.
It's crazy now at 37 to see how much that matters today. Like, so many people have a warped sense of what American history is because they learned his story in class and they didn't have parents like Andrea and Eddie to teach them what the real was at home. I'm just grateful, like, from them making me feel like fighting for the little guy or the little gal or anybody in between, and fighting for the voiceless. I didn't think that was optional. I thought that was like, that's what we're here to do. I love hip hop. I love 90s R&B. I think I'm the unofficial fourth member of SWV. Maybe this sister doesn't have a voice, but they could have let me lip sync. Yeah, I have other gifts. Singing is not one of them. Although the people say I got bars on CNN.
And did he ever release his transcripts or his admission to Harvard University? You raised the issue, so just yes or no.
Corey, in this moment, I'm going to Beyonce you. Boy, bye. Donald Trump wants to build a wall to keep Mexican folks out or people crossing the border out. And I used an Outkast line to say, you want to know who's paying for it? It's me.
And you, your mama, and your cousin, too. Period.
Don, if I gotta go. Really... I'm out of time, guys. I'm sorry. Thank
I know that for me, if I was watching, I would be like, you know what, that's I'm gonna remember that now. Like, you're basically saying it's on the American taxpayer. Microphone check, 1 2 1 2. This fool thinks I freestyle, but I'm not you. My rap is whack because I got other gifts, but I'm happy because I'm Black. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to On One with Angela Rye. The podcast is what I say it's all things sophistiratchet. And I've had battles with my best friends about why did you do this way on this podcast? There's one most recently, or one of the more recent ones with, I've only had 6, but April Ryan, who's a White House journalist. She is a beast. She's a hero to us all because of the ways that she's held down the culture for years.
Testing live microphone, yes. 2 and 1.
Everybody live microphone.
My mic sounds nice. Check 1.
And on the podcast, April was throwing mighty shade to Donald Trump's apprentice that shall not be named.
I was done with her because I made mincemeat of her. From the point where I said, look, I was here when you got fired the last time, and I'll be here when you get fired this time.
And my best friends were like, you didn't have to do it that way. It's not. And I'm like, yo, this is me. I think there are some moments where, I could probably lean a little bit more into the ratchet category than they would prefer. And it is what it is. Statistics show that Black women's work isn't deemed as valuable because we're not paid the same. There's a hierarchy that exists on the value you place on experience. my 6 years of working on Capitol Hill before I started my political advocacy firm, you'll discredit that because you just assume like, oh, it's a black girl that got a job because of affirmative action. You know what I mean? And as if that makes my role less valuable. If I did, I am a beneficiary of affirmative action in college and in law school because there were those policies in place. But I'm still smart. Try it. Run up on me if you want to.
Why use the B word, Angela?
Because Joe is a bigot. Here's Joe's tweet. And you're way wrong on your main point, Angela. We lowered the bar for Obama. He was held to a lower standard because he was black. You all decided to give Joe Walsh a platform today. I'm not giving him the time of day.
There's these typical unfortunate stereotypes about the angry black woman. Do you feel like people try to label you as such?
I'm not gonna own a label that I know doesn't relate to my existence. And because I can get frustrated or because I can get mad or because I can yell, doesn't mean that I am an angry person. It means that I get angry like any other human being. I think one of the things that's also kind of fascinating in the media space is like a guy can be like losing his, like natural mind and it's fine. And then when a woman is like, oh my God, you're screaming.
And the Republican Party wants to have people with their eyes on the horizon achieving as much as they can. And that's what Donald Trump represents. When you look at the New York City skyline, you see achievement. You see Donald Trump's achievement. And he wants every American to be able to achieve the same thing.
He was just being expressive. But when I do it, I'm like unhinged.
You're talking about a Donald Trump that refused to pay contractors. You're talking about a Donald Trump who used immigration laws and abused immigration laws to build these same buildings. I had to tell somebody that last night because he's trying to send me back to Africa where I've never been. Like, if we're arguing about white supremacy and your response, white guy, is to tell me to go back to Africa, you just lived out
what you're saying.
And gave an exhibit of what white supremacy is. You get to decide where I go?
Yeah.
Why?
I need to make sure that I'm saying the points that, my brothers and sisters will want to hear, and that's not always just black folks. There's a white guy from Australia that stays in my Twitter mentions telling me I'm speaking for him. Racism is not partisan, right? Like you're not above racism or you don't miss racism because you're a Democrat. There are people who are progressive in their thinking on policy, but still think they can implement and institute those policies and figure them out far better than a black person who's lived that experience. All of us have blind spots or biases, and the only way those things can come down is if we surround ourselves with folks who have had different experiences. So I was on my way to the airport, and I got a call from CNN about a special discussion on Charlottesville. I just had to think about it first. Like, I have a lot to do. Like, my parents are meeting me in LA today, and so I'm gonna be a few hours late for our meetup to do this. But I know, like, when I call my dad, he's still asleep probably. When I call him, he's gonna be like, oh, that's good. He's gonna understand. Maybe he's up now. I'm gonna try to call him now.
Hello?
Dad.
Yeah.
What day comes after Monday?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Why?
Dad, because you're on camera and I was telling the people you said Tuesday.
So did I pass the test or fuck it?
I don't know. It depends on how you look at Tuesday. So, I was getting ready to leave New York and they asked me to stay to do a taping for Fareed Zakaria's show. Even though I'll be a few hours late, I promise to make it up to you. I'll feed you a good dinner.
Well, all right.
All right, Daddy.
Okay, babe.
Bye. I think that being woke is about having attained a certain even base level of consciousness about what's going on, societal issues, etc. And so for me, it's not enough to stay or be woke anymore. It's about working woke. And so I've been saying that kind of all summer, like work woke. I'm glad that you read and you know everything that's going on. But if that doesn't ever translate to action, there's a biblical concept that faith without works is dead. If that is indeed the case, then it's not enough that you have arrived to a certain level of consciousness. It's time to apply that consciousness to action so that we're saving lives, saving communities, and growing and getting better and stronger. So I hope that they'll start saying I work woke. Otherwise, I failed.